We bring in now Karol Markowicz of the Karol Markowicz podcast. And Karol, I actually want to start with a question for you. I shared it yesterday. You write at the New York Post, but you also have a Substack, and you wrote kind of a long-form rumination
Mhm.
about the conversations that Jews in America are having in the wake of October 7th. And this has been something that we've continued to talk about, the political realignment to the extent that it has occurred
Mhm.
in the country among Jewish voters. What? How would you assess the mind of Jewish voters now? I read on the Sunday New York Times had a huge article about the future of Jews may not be traditionally with the Democrat Party anymore,
Mhm.
because it's the kind of the theme of the article was it's a time for choosing. You can't necessarily be a liberal and a Jewish supporter of liberalism, as might well have been connected in the past, given
Right.
the amount of Democrats supporting Palestinians.
Yeah. Well, hi guys. Thank you so much for
Hey.
having me on. I have been hoping that Jews would move rightward for a long time because history didn't begin on October 7th. Anti-Semitism in America didn't begin on October 7th. And what I've seen over the last decade is it's all coming from the left. Yes. Does the right have a couple of, frog avatars on Twitter who say ridiculous things and target Jews? Of course. But they're all anonymous and really small accounts, and they do it because they get a rise out of people. It isn't people in Congress like the Democrats have who are targeting Jews. So I have hoped for a long time that this shift would happen. I think it is happening, and I've seen it over the last, 2, 3, 4 years happening. I think that Jews went more than ever for Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida the last time he ran for governor a year and a half ago. They voted more for Donald Trump than they had voted in the past. We're in the 40s now, percentage-wise. And I think that if you look at the numbers of the last midterm election, I think it was the Jewish vote on Long Island in New York that swung the House to Republicans. So the times they are changing, maybe not as fast as I would like personally, but I'm seeing it anecdotally all around. I'm seeing Democrats, Jews who've always voted Democrat, really taking a good look at what that means and what they will do in the future. I would hope that they would rethink a lot of their political philosophy, like their support of things like DEI should be the end here. But it's hard to get people to really rethink everything, and I hope this is the first step right now.
Hey, Karol, appreciate you being with us. I wanted to ask you about the situation in New York. It's really two things coming together. One is you have Daniel Penny facing trial, and people are connecting this to, just for review for everyone, he's the Marine who stepped in when an individual was threatening people on the subway, put him in a chokehold. That individual died subsequently to being put in the chokehold. But that's happening. But also women are randomly being punched on the streets of New York City. There's been some press about this down in Lower Manhattan. They're just getting punched in the face by some stranger. And some, I think, member of the city council said, why aren't men doing something about this? And you might have seen the tweets all saying, because you locked them up.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's really it. Council member Amanda Farias, she's the majority Democrat council member on the New York City Council. She said, where are the men calling this out? Well, there were men calling this out, and there were men who would be willing to step in between a woman and a man trying to punch her. But after Daniel Penny got arrested, I've heard from so many New Yorkers, I'm not getting involved. That's crazy. I'm not getting involved. I'm not risking my life to protect other people on the subway. And the thing about New York was that we always counted on strangers stepping in. That was what made New York amazing. I think after 9/11, everybody always wanted to be a hero. And I think that what we've seen is when you target the heroes, when you put them in jail, when you have people like Daniel Penny who are willing to risk their own lives to help a train full of people, and you see him get arrested and you see him be charged, why do it? Why would anybody do it? And I have to tell you that I feel like a genius every day for moving to Florida. New York is just cannot dig itself out of this, pandemic era slump that it's in. They can't do the most rational, sane things. I feel so sorry for the people in New York who are trying to vote themselves to sanity, who do try to make their city a better place, because they're faced with the Amanda Fariases of the world who do nothing to make the city better and then complain about men not stepping in.
Karol, what do you think? We talked about it a little bit earlier in this hour, but Ron DeSantis basically spiking the football on Disney. Front page, by the way, of the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal today, as they're doing my pregame reading. What's the reaction? You're down in Florida now. You heard all the people out there who said, oh, Disney's going to win this. DeSantis has no leg to stand on. And then Disney basically waves the white flag. Is this over between DeSantis and Disney? Is Disney trying to avoid the cultural battles, or do you think this is just a battle won for now, but the war wages on?
No, I think that this is the end. I think that in the settlement, Disney, agreed to dismiss multiple lawsuits that they had. And I really do think that this is, at least I should hope so. To me, I would really hope that this is the beginning of sanity, of Disney coming back to sanity. Nobody wants to hate Disney. No, I grew up with Disney. All of us did. And we all want to take our kids to Disney World and we want to do things like that. But Disney has been sort of the enemy of families for the last few years. And I hope that this ending of this battle with Governor DeSantis and this ending of trying to have their own, Reedy Creek Improvement District, I really do hope that the company realizes that they've made some serious errors and they reverse themselves and they go back to the vision that Walt Disney had of family-friendly entertainment, not indoctrination, really wholesome things that you could put the kids on for the kids and just know that they're not going to be indoctrinated by some crazy leftism. I hope that this is the beginning of the road back for Disney. I really do.
We're speaking to Karol Markowicz of the Karol Markowicz Show. You can listen to it on the Clay and Buck Podcast Network, which so many of you are already doing. We'd invite you to join by subscribing. Download the iHeart Radio app. Look at Clay and Buck. Subscribe. Karol Markowicz Show will be right there. And Karol, I want you to weigh in on something that got really, I was surprised yesterday. Got a little bit heated, got a little bit controversial. People who are commenting that Travis Kelce has a dad bod. And also I would say a lot of people very critical of Taylor Swift in a bathing suit. Clay, it was pointed out to me by Carrie, they invited the photographers to take photos of them, by the way.
Is this true?
They invited the photographers to take photos.
Is that true, Karol? Is that I rescind all, like, if you choose to get your pictures taken.
He thought they were like in ghillie suits, like a sniper, but with a camera.
Well, I don't think there should be secret photos taken of people on vacation.
Yeah, right,
if they invited it. Okay.
I don't know about the part about them inviting them. I don't know about the photographer part, but the idea that those two people don't have good bodies, like, what lunacy are we living with on the internet? I think people have really lost it. He's a football player. She's in fantastic shape. We've gotten to where we're so used to these over-filtered bodies and faces. We have no idea what people really look like anymore. And come on. When Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are not good looking anymore, we've really lost it.
Well, this is what I mean. I think that social media in particular has created, and really I blame Instagram. Facebook is where you show the jam preserves that you're making and, your grandchildren. Instagram is
a lot
where
of kid
people
photos.
Instagram is where you put your thirst trap, right? Instagram, which is, for those who don't know, that's when ladies all of a sudden have like a photo of them in very revealing clothing and they just see all the comments. That's called a thirst trap. Or I guess maybe Ginger when I hold her up. That's a thirst trap too. But anyway, but the truth here is that I think people are losing sight of, well, first of all, what's important, but beyond that, what's normal. And I'd also say, Karol, I think that I always think you have interesting takes on aesthetics. I understand people can have different views of things. I also think that plastic surgery, maybe just because I live in Miami, it's just getting completely out of control, though. And the people you see in the media are also getting completely out. We're not talking about a little snip or a little, change here or there. Like, everyone's walking around like they've got this plastic face now full of all this puffed up stuff.
Right. It's not, I do not like it. Do not approve at all. That's really it, though. It's the fact that we're not seeing real faces on social media. And, Facebook is the last place you could see real faces. You could see your grandma's face.
Yep.
So, I think people have forgotten what people really look like.
So the data, you've got, I think, 3 kids. I've got 3, Karol.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've asked you about this, but when you see the gap in happiness in America right now, between people who are 60 plus and people who are under 30,
Yeah.
how do we fix that? And a part of it is generational, but
Yeah.
people as they age tend to get happier. But never in American history of anybody living right now have people under the age of 30 historically been as unhappy as people say they are under 30 right now. How does it get fixed?
Wild. It's so wild. And, they also have the most that anybody has ever had in human history. They're like the luckiest, most blessed, most living
Correct.
these abundant lifestyles, and they're unhappy. It is partly social media, absolutely, but partly that they have no strife. They have nothing to struggle against, so they invent problems for themselves. I mean, just the fact that so many of them don't sleep at night because of climate change. Like, they've been told to worry about something that is ridiculous and they can't solve, and they should be getting a good night's sleep and not thinking about it at all. But, like, these kids are so lucky. I always say, I don't know what my kids are going to turn out to be. I can tell you they're not going to be communists. They're not going to hate America. And they're going to feel lucky and blessed for their lives, because I've spent, their whole childhoods telling them about how my life could have gone in the Soviet Union, how my poor childhood in Brooklyn, how it's not like this for everybody, and that they should feel lucky every day. I have them say thank you to military and police and firemen when they see them. My kids are going to be full of gratitude no matter what happens. That's really my main goal.
Yeah, and I think that, Karol, increasingly the data reflects that people who approach life with gratitude, but also with a sense of purpose that is externalized, like doing things for others, helping others. That I know that it can sound like something that you'd get from like a Hallmark after school special or whatever, but the data about people's self-reported happiness shows that the more you externalize your purpose and get beyond, say, the narcissism of Instagram filters and all the rest, to bring it full circle for a moment, the more likely one is to continue to be happy and to feel good about their day-to-day.
Yeah, having kids volunteer or really do good work is so important. I think that we really overlook that. We give kids these easy lives that make them not appreciate what they have. Again, I don't know. I don't know how my kids are going to turn out, but I'm going to instill that they have to appreciate everything they have, that they have to work for everything they have. It's definitely the way to go. I know you guys interviewed Abigail Schreier, her book, Bad Therapy, so much in it about not focusing on all your problems, not being mired down in the minutia of your life and thinking that you're so important and that everything bad that happens to you is unique to just you. It's so important to get kids out of that headspace. I think that, you have to raise kids who are not going to be indulgent and full of themselves. And that's really priority number one.
Karol Markowicz, everybody. Check out the Karol Markowicz
guys.
podcast. So wait, you launched a Substack too, right?
I have a Substack. It's Karol Markowicz .substack.com. The kids are into it, so I'm thinking I'm going to give it a try. We'll see how it goes.
Well, we'll have a bunch of everyone listening subscribing to help out. Thanks so much, Karol. Great to talk to you.
Thanks, guys.
So look, if you missed it, sports prognosticator extraordinaire, Mr. Clay Travis himself, that's right, the other guy here, he shared his player picks on Prize Picks in hour one. Hour two of this program was hour one. Hour one.
Both of them. Hour one and hour
two. There we go. Never fear, though. We are posting those picks up on the website. If you missed them, clayandbuck.com right now. You can go hear Clay's picks or read Clay's picks for Prize Picks. And you're going to want to download the free Prize Picks app, the #1 fantasy sports app in America. It's so much fun, particularly on days like today when the 2024 baseball season kicks off. Basketball and hockey, of course, are continuing, and there's another week of March Madness activity going on. This is the perfect time to download the Prize Picks app. See why it is quickly becoming America's #1 fantasy sports app. Prize Picks has more than 3 million active members. The most fun sports app to play on. All about the players, not the teams. Focuses on hundreds and hundreds of players every day. Every time you play, you pick 2 to 6 players, and you just make one decision. Will they have more or less than the stat shown on Prize Picks? I've been doing it. It's so easy, and it's fun. And you got Clay giving you great picks, so you can make some great money. Get in on this action in more than 30 states right now. Prize Picks will give you injury insurance, too, so your picks stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. Download the Prize Picks app. Open your account today. Use name Buck. That's right. Download that Prize Picks app account and use my name Buck. When you do, you'll get a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks app. Download today. Promo code Buck. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.